Right. So for our DEI case study, we chose scenario 2, which essentially explains how someone came to a meeting and it wasn't designed for wheelchair accessibility. And so this organization wanted to, sorry, I'm getting rid of that. They wanted to design a better place for people with disabilities. So as we approached our design thinking process in our case study, we really wanted to consider people of all sorts of disabilities, whether that's wheelchair, deaf, blind, and other cases for that. So we went through the design thinking process, and this is kind of what we came up with.
So to get more understanding of this case, we went and talked to people that we knew and did a lot of research online to find people who had experiences with disabilities in the workplace and what they thought about everything. And we got a lot of feedback. This one quote that we heard or saw that said, "It seems to me that a person in a wheelchair is rarely consulted about their needs, and many people are guilty of not being bothered." And so to create a more inclusive workplace, we want to make sure that we are being bothered to take the time to find out what these people's needs are and how we can best help them in the workplace. Another quote from Sam Steele says, "Whether it be thinking about how the office kitchen is designed, whether it's close to your desk, and how you'll transfer your coffee. I know it sounds incredibly menial and day to day, but I think it is what any wheelchair user has to consider. Everyone has the commute, but what the audience may not appreciate is the little things, like getting ready in a suit. My dexterity isn't great, so I will never be the world's best tie tire." And another bit of input we heard was that wheelchair employees working from home have a lot of concerns if they have to do that, that people that are working in the office will often be more present at face-to-face meetings, and so wheelchair users sometimes feel that other people may have more of a leg up for being there. And so with our design and throughout this process, we hoped to make sure that we could help people who are in wheelchairs to be included and be present in these meetings and where they need to be in the office, especially for this organization and their new hires.
So the next step that we made was defining the problem. So our point of view statement was disabled people who come to our organization need to feel confident that they will have access to everything that able-bodied people have access to within the building because we want them to feel comfortable and included at our organization because they may not feel that in other places. And so then we wanted to do some ideation and really think of a lot of potential needs and potential solutions to try and just get as many ideas as possible. And so we came up with some potential needs like stairway accessibility on the inside of the building and on the outside, doorway access, the width of the doorways, being able to open doors and everything, the distance from parking, not enough reserved parking spaces, ramps outside, how to design for deaf individuals, office kitchen counters being too high or not or poorly designed. And then some potential solutions that we thought of were just ramps outside the building and inside the building, elevators, automatic door opening buttons, bigger bathrooms, braille for blind individuals, open spaces and conference rooms, and we thought of lots and lots more needs and solutions, but we kind of wanted to incorporate a bunch of these solutions, and so this is what helped us come up with our next idea.
So for our prototype, we came up with an app that has a lot of different features for people with disabilities, but will also benefit people who don't have disabilities. So the first one is like a Bluetooth scanning for a doorway. So you would have the app and it would scan on your phone, and when you're close to a door, and it would automatically open for you. This would help especially with like companies that have key card access where they don't really have a disability button on every single door.
So that would help a lot to help them get into the whole entire building instead of just trying to go through one doorway. The second would be directions on the phone that would also have like audio for people that are blind. And then also this would like help just the general employee onboarding experience to help them know where to go. But especially for people with disabilities.
Okay, and then the last feature that we talked about was a room reservation system. So this would allow for a business or for a company to schedule meetings and to be able to schedule meetings for rooms that are accessible for those that need wheelchairs. So how this would work is that you would pick a date and a time and you would check all the attendees that you have listed. Each employee would have their own profile, and on their profile, they would be able to create their own their own profile in a way that they can say whether or not they have a disability or certain accommodations that they need met. And then once the person checks all the attendees, they can be able to see the rooms that filters out that would work for this meeting. So if Leah Warner, for example, was someone that needed a wheelchair and had a disability, she would be able to the planner would be able to check the attendees, and then the available rooms that would show up would only be wheelchair accessible, so that she would be able to attend the meeting without having to worry about stress, whether or not like there was a mistake. It would just create a very simple process for her.
So, as you can see, our prototype and ideas really only scratch the surface of all the possible ways that we can design for disabilities, but it is our hope that as we move forward and test this prototype, that we're sharing these ideas with future employers and other organizations and other people throughout the workplace so that we can start to make a change and help our friends who have disabilities feel more included and like they belong.